Thanks for staying with us. Still tuned into Traders 20.
Well, the benchmark indices are trading in the negative zone, but mid-cap index is trading very flat at this point of time, but with a positive bias there. In fact, it has slipped down in trade again, but very flat at this moment. 5-day gainers, United Phosphorus as well as Exide. Exide, though, not too pokey in today's session, down by about 1.5%. And 5-day losers have been Adani Enterprise as well as PFC, both trending downwards today with losses by around 0.5%. MTNL, that stock has touched a new high today, but the new lows have been touched by Suzlon as well as Indian Overseas Bank.
Let's bring on board Sandeep Wagle as well as Prakash Gava. They're joining in to illustrate the top ideas that they're betting on. Sandeep, what's it for you?
A sell in Steel Authority of India Limited, stop loss of 83.50, target of 73.50. The metal space has been weak and this is one of the weakest stocks in that space. Breakdown of a swing low in the daily charts, indication of another 7-10% downside. A buy in United Spirits, stop loss of 952, target 995. Price and volume breakout of a prior swing high in the hourly charts. That move should come in over the next few hours or possibly by tomorrow. And a buy in Asian Paints, the same reason, stop loss of 3685, target of 3770.
All right, so one sell and two buy calls coming in from Sandeep Wagle. But Prakash, which stocks are you betting on today and why?
Well, market is at low. You can expect some kind of a short covering until tomorrow FNO expiry day. All the three shorts are basically short covering moves. All buys. ABB has already fallen a lot. You can see some kind of short covering coming in. I would have a stop below 735. On the upside, a level of 755 is possible. Second buy is a Volta. Looks like again here some kind of short covering is expected. We could have a stop just below the level of 67, 68. On the upside, we could see levels closer to 70, 71 zones in a day or two. And third is again Tata Power. Seen a good up move yesterday and today. Again a short covering up move. It's closer, it's about 100 zones, which is a psychological support. Have a stop below the levels of 98, 99 zones. On the upside, we could see target closer to 105. All three, purely I'm expecting a short covering, and the market expected to bounce back from here because 5,300 seems to be a strong support to work with.
Okay, Prakash Gava is sticking his neck out. It's buys across the board for him. Take a quick break, but we're not anywhere close to done because on the other side, Deepak Mahoney and Rajat Bose will be walking us through their top picks for today.
If you are looking for fresh trading ideas, you've tuned into the right show, Traders 20. Welcome back.
Well, let's get into check as to what's happening with the broader markets, and it's absolutely listless as can be. So you've got the small cap index, which is doing nothing as of now. Perhaps we can take heart from the fact that the advanced decline ratio as of now is absolutely even, Stephen. Those are some of the 5-day gainers. Deccan Chronicle has done fairly well for itself, as has in India Glycols. Some of the counters, in fact, which have hit a new high in today's session include Som Distilleries as well as Shanti Gears, which is now tempered off.
All right, time then to bring on board Rajat Bose as well as Deepak Mahoney with their top bets. Oh, good morning, gentlemen. First, Rajat Bose, to you. Which stocks are catching your attention this morning?
You just mentioned one of them. I mean, India Glycols, day before yesterday, I chose this as a buy, and it did perform pretty well. Of course, it did not meet the target that I set on that day. Today, I have tempered the targets a bit. 163 is achievable since the day before yesterday's high is 162.75. Considering that, I have kept 163 as my target, and below 147 one should put a stop loss because it's an intraday or at the most it's a 2-day trade. And this stock is actually trying to break out from the consolidation zone. So the fact that it is making a second attempt so soon suggests that there is a lot of buying interest in it. So it can even be bought by investors who are looking for a medium-term gains, where 20 to 30% gains in the short term can also be seen. Next call is on Wipro. This tech stock is showing good strength. The intraday trend is up and the short-term trend is also an uptrend. So I've chosen Wipro, stop below 363 based on intraday chart positions. Target is 373. And the only sell call that I have is on Vale. Again, the intraday trend is down, and after a flat movement for quite some time, the stock is once again coming down. To sell with a stop above 221 and the target is 214. It's an intraday trade. If the selling target is not met today, maybe it will be met tomorrow.
Okay, let's keep the countdown going. Deepak Mohani, our last technical expert, now joins in on the show. Deepak, what are you recommending for today?
Got 2 buys and 1 short sale. The market is favoring trades in both directions, so a mix seems to work best in the current situation. The first buy is Wipro again, with a stop slightly different stops than Rajat's. Stop loss of 358 and a target of 379 to be held for a duration of about a week or so. The stock at the current price is at a 5-week high, so it's in a very decent uptrend. It's also enjoying a fair amount of momentum, outperforming most of the index stocks at the moment. So Wipro was the first of the buys. The second is Divi's Labs. Divi's Labs had quite a sell-off yesterday, fell by 5% or thereabouts. But if you look at its history right from March, it's been in a very steady uptrend. And these sort of sell-offs usually end up as a buying opportunity. And it seems that way again today. It's started climbing off the lows and it's now moved some distance away from yesterday's low. So Divi's Labs is also a buy with a stop loss of 1130 and a target of 1197. And the one short sale is a pure intraday trade, LIC Housing Finance with a stop loss of 250 that is, with a target of 240. Stock's been weak for a while. It's an intermediate downtrend, and at the current price, it's at a 4-week low. So it's pretty gaining a little bit of momentum downwards now.
All right, so those are 3 ideas coming in from Deepak Mohani. With that, time to thank all our guests, Ashwini, Deepak, Prakash, Sandeep, Mitesh and Rajat. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning with those ideas. But let's now get in our commodities editor, Manisha Gupta, for a quick check on the commodities space. Good morning, Manisha. How is the commodities pack panning out?
Well, thank you so much, Kamya. We have seen a very mixed trend come in case of commodities today. On one side, you have the euro, which is trading at an 8-week high versus the US dollar, and that has been supportive. But on the other side, the market hopes are really dimming when it comes to the further stimulus coming in from central banks. The delay really is playing onto the minds, and that's the reason you have seen some money being taken off these markets as well. Gold is the only one which is shining bright, holding in green even in the Asian markets right now. But if you look at the crude prices, those are off their 1-week highs. We have seen the storm problems in Gulf of Mexico actually go away, so the premium has come off the markets. Also, the US weekly inventories are highest since the month of May, and that's another thing that's weighing onto the prices here. It also has to do with the mixed US data that has come in yesterday in sense of consumer confidence and also home sales that has led to the US base metal prices also declining. You also have seen LME prices trade in the negative at this point in time. How do you trade all of those commodities? For that, let's get in Naveen Mathur from Angel. He joins us live on the show. Naveen, hi, welcome. How are you looking at the base metal prices, especially copper, because the Chinese data has been on the weaker side. The US data is quite mixed. What are you taking away from that?
Yeah, Manisha, hi. I think whatever you have said regarding the stimulus packages which we were looking forward to after the release of the Fed minute is panning out. I think people are anticipating that nothing's going to come immediately or fairly soon as what they have mentioned in the minutes of the meeting. Further, the Chinese data, the US consumer data or the data from the home sales and everything is coming down, which is leading to a negative bias on the base metals pack. Hence, we recommend the sell position would be good on copper on the MCX. If one wants to sell the contract on the copper August, one can sell it at around 425, 426, and the targets on the downside are expected at around 420. We are the trade needs to be put in with a stop loss at around 428.
Naveen, how would you look at the energy space now? Because while we have seen a resistance at $98 for NYMEX, it really hasn't gone below 95 as well. So would you see a range happening here now?
Yeah, Manisha, as we said earlier, and I was of the view that $90 to $100 on the WTI contract would hold good, and that's why the markets looks like to be within that particular range. I think 90 on the downside can be looked into, and 98, 99 on the upside can be the resistance for the WTI contract. If we talk about Brent, it's hovering around $112, $113 levels. I think 105 on the downside to 115 kind of a range on the upside can be seen for the crude oil prices. Fundamentally, we feel that the markets are bullish, but technically somebody wants to sell for the intraday position can sell the MCX crude contract for the September month at around 5,370 to 380 levels. We would recommend the stop loss for this trade to be put in at around 5,420, and 5,310 would be the target.
All right, Naveen, I appreciate your time joining us. So that's the view coming in from Angel. Then sell calls coming in for crude and copper, both those commodities for the intraday market today. With that, it's back to you, Avan.
Thanks very much, Manisha, for giving us those commodity trading strategies. Well, that simply winds down Traders 20, but mandatory to warn you with that disclaimer. If you choose to take on board any positions that have been recommended, please make sure that you do consult your financial advisor.